digital revolution, which is going and trying to reduce the cost factor altogether for the companies. Though the investment cost in a franchisee in a well-known brand might be on the higher side, but the returns are also equally good. So once you become a franchisee, you get to know the business in depth, including the technology and every other factors that makes it. They even provide training and assistance in most of the cases. So that's where this becomes very, very interesting. Good morning and welcome to the first session in Unit 5 in Business Environment. And in this session, we are going to talk about the emerging trends in business. Now, with the current scenario that we are facing in the business, there are a lot of opportunities that are available for the young entrepreneurs. What are these opportunities that are being kept in store for us? Now, the first thing is the emerging trends that we need to understand in today's business. Emerging trends in marketing have completely changed the way the business is conducted. So this is very, very important for each one of us to know. Why? Because the emerging trends have been showing the way, the model, how it is being done, how it is getting carried, and how we are moving forward altogether. Now, if you look here, the emerging trends have actually started making you think that business is not going to be conducted anymore in the normal or in the usual setup altogether, but rather it is going to attract you to a larger setup, to a larger belief altogether, where you will be able to see that you are able to do it in much more easier manner, in a much more effective manner altogether. So that's why I would say that the modes of marketing, if you start seeing where you are able to attract the customers, where you are able to go forward altogether in terms of making your business even more revolutionary in nature. So what I try to say here is that these are different modes available today. Now, let's say that you are talking about businesses like logistics, supply chain, franchisee, or you are starting your own innovative apps, or you are getting into designing, or you are getting into content marketing, digital marketing. So many new trends have come up in business that the business environment has been providing n number of opportunities for all the young entrepreneurs. They are even trying to reduce the expenses of the company that is traditionally happening in marketing. And one such a revolutionary trend is the network marketing. So definitely, if you start looking into the business concept here, it has been quite obvious that we are no more in the normal trends of doing business. We have started coming into the scenario, we have started coming into the factor that where we have recognized the concept of business phenomenon in a different league, in a different level altogether. So what is happening here, or what is really getting into picture, is that we are able to see that there is a lot of change that is coming in terms of digital marketing, digital revolution, which is going and trying to reduce the cost factor altogether for the companies. Now, moving forward, let me tell you what is this network marketing all about. In the year 96-97, when there was a company named as Amway that entered into India, everybody was fancied about the thought, what is Amway going to do in terms of personalization altogether? Now, why I would like to tell you that is because Amway has been a company which has used the concept of network marketing. Amway believed that instead of paying money to the middlemen, to the people who are connecting the business, let me pay it directly to the customers itself. So when you join hands together and start marketing the product on a team-based manner, automatically you would start expanding the network, plus you would also try to make an income for yourself. Now look at the style that has been followed. Basically, this is a medium of marketing which the manufacturer used to expand their sales. Now, what they are trying to do here is that avoid the various distributors, avoid the various middlemen who are involved in selling the product. What do they do is that they select people, they ask them to come for a meeting where they display their products and train them, teach them about what is this ideology altogether. Now, moment that training that starts altogether, what they are able to do is that they are able to push their products. Once they are able to push their products in the hands of these people, automatically these distributors form a network. Who are these distributors? The common man himself. The common man is able to connect himself to various paths, to various methodologies altogether, and that is making the system even more connected. So that is why I would say that this is getting into a different league, into a different scenario altogether. So now what is happening here is that you will be able to understand that the distributors will create a network and they will get into a different level of operation here. Now, that different level of operation, the different level of working is able to provide you a better network, a better connectivity through which the sales will be promoted and automatically they will be able to take it forward to the next level. Now, this is something where you will be able to see that the network is actually more about creating your own chain. So, if there is one person here who is working with Amway, he will now get connected to one more. He will form a chain. Those people will have further networks here. So, like this, when you keep on forming networks at different level, the sales will start moving together in a very, very conclusive chain pattern. As the chain starts expanding, the sales also starts going up, and because of which the company is able to get a huge profit, and a part of the profit is being shared among these people, which becomes their regular income. So this is a fantastic idea that was started by companies like Amway, Hindustan Lever, Modicare, all this kind of people who have now harnessed the power of network marketing. Followed by, when we talk about the network marketing, we also know that the manufacturers use this vast network to market their products. The distributors, dealers will also get a very beautiful share. And what happens here is that there is a wide mouth spread in terms of the awareness towards the product. Now, what is happening here is that in most of the companies, if you start seeing like Hindustan Lever Limited, when they were in the field of traditional marketing, it took a long time for them to go back to the market and reach to the customers. It is very, very difficult every time to go to the customer, explain the product, tell them why it is like this, and then make a margin out here. So it is very, very important for each one of us to understand the factor that how we need to rebuild the brand, how we need to rebuild the entire economic setup here. So that is where we try to market the goods to the customers widely without spending more money, like the traditional marketing method. Call the people, let the people themselves will become the brand ambassadors, and they will start advertising the factors altogether. So that's where I would say that this is an excellent piece of marketing. This is an excellent ideology of marketing, which will you can earn income also, plus you will come to know about the brands better. Followed by the most interesting model, which is now picking up in India, is none other than the franchising model. Franchising is an arrangement where the franchisor, that is one party, grants license, some rights to the authority, that's a franchisee, that is the another party here. Franchising is a well-known marketing strategy for expansion and for marketing. Now let me talk about this in a very, very in-depth manner. Who would not be happy to take a McDonald's franchisee, or a Domino's, or a Burger King, or a Pizza Hut? All these names are very, very well known in the Indian context. But how do they sell so much? What is the secret behind making money? These are all brands that are well versed in the global arena, and they are all known for their fast foods. The way they have been able to market, the way they have been able to penetrate into the Indian scenario or any other part of the world is quite enticing to know. The reason is that they have been successfully creating franchisees across the globe, providing them with huge incentives and also providing them a plan and methodology of operation. Though the investment cost in a franchisee in a well-known brand might be on the higher side, but the returns are also equally good. So suppose you get an opportunity to take up a franchisee for a McDonald's or for a KFC or for a Pizza Hut or a Domino's, what you need to do is that you just have to follow the pattern of advice that is being given by them. All you have to do is that take up the land, take up the position, and you have to build the franchisee. Then everything else is being set up by the company itself, and you just have to follow that methodology to reach the end result. Now, there is a contractual agreement that takes place between the franchisor and the franchisee. Franchisor authorizes franchisee to sell their products, goods, services, gives them the right to use trademark and brand name. That's no doubt about it. And these franchisees act like a dealer. So whatever might be the products of McDonald's or KFC, once you take their franchisee, you will be eligible to sell only their products. You become like a dealer for them, and you will be selling them all the new products, new discounts, and whatever varieties that has been told all about. So this becomes a very, very important factor. This becomes a very, very important stand altogether, where you are able to understand and you are able to practice in terms of your understanding, in terms of your development altogether. So this is a very, very interesting factor which I would like to call upon in terms of building up your business. Now, every company in this world has got some sort of franchising agreement which will help the other person to understand, evaluate the position and take forward in terms of the rights and guarantees. Now, moving forward, the franchisee also says that in return, the franchisee pays one-time fee or a commission to the franchisor. That's a one-time investment money and some share of the revenue. Normally, it is shared at a 70-30 ratio. So 30% will go to the franchisor, 70% to the franchisee. There are some advantages that they do not have to spend money on training of employees. They don't get to learn about the business. Every single thing is set up by the franchisor, the name, the brand, the logo, the color, the outlet, the setup, everything is being done. And finally, they get to learn the business by themselves. Now, some of the examples of franchises which are very, very exciting names that you know: McDonald's, Domino's, KFC, Pizza Hut, Subway, Dunkin' Donuts, Taco Bell, Baskin Robbins, Burger King. These are all the franchisee models that you can ever think about in India. Now, just look at the opportunity that we have. Fortunately or unfortunately, the fact that remains in franchisee is that people think there's a huge amount of risk that is involved. But let me tell you, franchisee is not that much risk when compared to the normal format of business. Why? Because the only risk which I see is a long-term investment that comes into picture here. And because of the investment, people fear that they might lose the money. But once you are able to set up according to the company needs and want, and if you are able to take forward the business altogether, you can make whole lot of money. And this is a very good career opportunity in the long run. Now, the functioning of a franchisee, if you start seeing, under a franchisee, the two parties generally enter into an agreement and they finally say that they are going to sell the products under its own business venture. So now what is happening is that on the top, the name board will be Domino's. Of course, they are running it, but it is franchised to somebody else. So what that franchisee will do is sell only the Domino's product. He will not be allowed or entitled to sell any other thing. It's a strict contractual agreement. And whatever revenue that comes will be shared based on the agreement. Now, the functioning will also say that I'm going to give you certain rights, I'm going to give you certain specific knowledge, certain technical specificity, certain rights, certain exclusive factors, which is only being given to that particular person and not to everybody in the market. So once you become a franchisee, you get to know the business in depth, including the technology and every other factors that makes it. They even provide training and assistance in most of the cases. So that's where this becomes very, very interesting. With this, I come to the end of this session. I hope and believe that this session was highly interesting, useful, and of a great resource to you. In the upcoming sessions, we will be seeing about the new business models that are emerging up in the Indian business scenario. Until then, stay tuned, stay enlightened, and stay blessed forever. Thank you once again for joining me on this wonderful session today.